Some movies are made to challenge the audience. Today, we're going to be talking about a film that does just that. We are going to be talking about Songs from the Second Floor, and this is a Swedish movie that came out in the year 2000, and it is directed by Roy Andersson, and it is about a struggling businessman and family man in Sweden, and basically I think it's a social commentary about the times. And the movie is, I would describe it as a very dark humor, and the cinematography is nevertheless striking. But again, this movie was very challenging for me, and nevertheless, I wouldn't say that I liked it or enjoyed it, but I am somehow happy that I was able to watch it and sit through it. And so I'm going to let you know about the things that I did like and then the things that I didn't necessarily like about this movie. But before I dive into those, I want to let you know how I discovered this movie. So this movie was posted on Ask a Guru, and we are a curation community. So naturally, there are going to be things that are posted on the platform that I love, that you won't like. You're going to post things that you like that I maybe not won't love. But a lot of times, you're going to post something that I love, and I'm going to post something that you love. And so that's just the reality of what we're doing here. And regardless of how the curation lands, I just think it's so fascinating to be able to curate things for one another and to be able to influence one another. So that was how I discovered this movie, and I'm totally glad that I did. And this movie was posted by a guru who is super awesome on our platform, and I've watched many of the movies that she's posted, and I've loved them. And I decided, hey, after reading the synopsis of this movie, I didn't think that I would like it, but I'm going to check it out just to see where this particular guru is coming from when they cited this as a movie that, they posted. So obviously they feel some type of way about it, and they wanted to share it with our community. So I decided to give it a watch because I was curious why, what was somebody seeing in order to post this. And so I gave it a watch. And so I have some notes here about what I liked, and I am going to touch on them. So again, Songs from the Second Floor is a dark comedy, and right away, some of the opening scenes are really funny in their own, like, kind of, dark way. I've got I think, a good sense of humor, and the opening scenes were I gotta give it to them. It's captivating and it's funny, and it sets the stage for the rest of the movie. So basically, there's a guy, the main character, this family guy, is about to get laid off by his boss, and his boss is like basically prepping him, like, yo, business is not going good, like, and the businessman and the employee, he goes, I've been here 30 years, like, I need this job. And so, to make a long story short, he ends up getting fired, and when he gets fired, he's literally grabbing on to his boss's legs, and he just keeps repeating, but I've been here 30 years. But I've been here 30 years. And he's getting dragged across the hall by his boss, like, saying, there's nothing I can do for you. There's nothing I can do for you. And this goes on for like a minute. He's just grabbing his boss's leg, getting dragged, just repeating, but I've been here 30 years. And so I thought that was, again, in a dark way, it was nevertheless funny. And it was a good way to set up the movie of, like, the director describing for us what he wants us to just, what world he's painting for us. this is a Sweden through his lens, and he's telling us from his own perspective, you know, what he feels about the society, how callous it is. And so this theme of financial struggles is a big part of the movie. Later on, the character like goes to a church to like complain to the priest. And instead of the priest like trying to help him out, the priests start saying like, dude, we've got problems too. And it's like, it's pretty funny. Again, it's like, it's a social commentary of the problems with modern society. And then there's this reoccurring theme of symbolism of the of traffic throughout the city. Nobody can get anywhere because there's just crazy traffic, and that to me, I did enjoy that symbolism of like, you know, again commenting on modern society, that there's all these people packed into these cities and nobody can actually achieve anything or go anywhere. And I guess you know, you can read into that whether what he means more about that, but it's certainly a commentary in my perspective about how big, you know, modern societies are, and how the cities are unforgiving and impractical in some ways. And so there are other really good really good, you know, I think scenes that are funny and artistic. Again, it's a dark comedy. The director did a good job of weaving in, you know, especially I think in hindsight, some scenes that they do a good job of capturing commentary about their perspective of the modern world in Sweden. And obviously it's a critique of society. And I guess art is there to do that. It's to critique society, to explain subjectively the way individuals feel about society. And you may not agree with them, but art is to just engage with. So I enjoyed that aspect. And yeah, and there were other really, I think, good scenes in terms of, there is the scene of the main character again trying to swindle the insurance out of some money by burning his own store. And I thought that was like that back and forth with the insurance agents and the business owner, that was pretty funny. And also the main character getting beat up randomly on the street. It's just like there's a never ending saga of things happening to this guy in this modern day city over in Sweden. And again, the movie has its moments of humor, but ultimately I still found myself not totally getting into the movie. And I did find myself like looking at the, you know, the timer while watching it, like, okay, how many more minutes of this? How, you know, I was just kind of like counting down to it being over, because I was kind of trying to get a sense of like, all right, where are we going with this? I get it, but where are we going? And it's really scene after scene of, you know, different I guess dark comedic skits, really is what you can describe it as. So that's for real. That's how I felt about this movie. Now about some of my critiques, I did think that ultimately it was too dark. There were some moments that were like really pushing the boundary in terms of like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe they just filmed this, you know. But again, art is, and for some art, it's designed to really just challenge the audience and push the boundaries. And this movie does that. I didn't like some of the ways that they push the boundaries, but again, it's the artist doing this, and we are the audience, and so we engage with it, you know, as we can. So I felt like this movie was very dark. What else? So I also felt that especially because religion is a very sensitive topic. They were very irreverent, and in many ways it felt callous how irreverent it was. But again, that speaks to how dark this dark comedy is. It's very irreverent, and I think that for some people who enjoyed this movie, there's a kind of person that would enjoy this movie, and I think that the irreverent religious aspect is what gets a lot of people to like this movie. If they're so inclined already to that frame of mind, then the irreverent aspect, they will draw affinity to it. They will understand and appreciate that this director painted something so dark because they feel that way. And so I personally, I have like a nice touch of a dark sense of humor, but this did not resonate with me at all. And in some ways, frankly, I felt offended, and it was hard to sit through because it felt like, the way I would describe it is like if you had to sit through the roast of your sister or the roast of your mother, like having comedians one after another just make fun of your loved one. That's what it felt like sitting through, through I guess like half of the movie. It felt like, hey, you're really bashing some people that believe in certain religious ways, and they just didn't seem to care about that. But again, like I mentioned when I started, this movie is designed to challenge the audience, and so that's one of the reasons why I didn't like the movie. Because it was hard to sit through. And this movie reminded me of another movie that I've started that I will complete, and it's The Holy Mountain. And maybe you've heard of that movie, but this is, when you start to get into movies, this is very far from your Marvel movie. This is very far from your Hollywood movies. This is, you could describe it as very independent, very fringe types of films, and these are not designed to be popular. These are designed to be artistic paintings, portraits, a window into the psyche of a particular individual, or a description of society. So in that way, I think this movie is able to repulse, and maybe that's what it was designed to do. It was designed to repulse us, to speak to how this director viewed society and his critique of society. And so in that way, even though I really didn't enjoy this movie and wouldn't watch it again, I think it was successful in what it was aiming to do, which is why I think that for the good reviews that it has, I think people understand that aspect. And so they're either they feel they believe in the dark comedic aspect and the critiques, and they feel affinity to that mindset, and that's why they are giving it a positive review, or they just understand that, hey, this director is irreverently painting an artistic picture of a society that is falling apart. And so I understand that aspect. And so in that way, I could understand the movie. And so again, even though I didn't enjoy it, I could understand it. And so I felt like it wasn't time wasted, even though I was waiting for it to be over. So I know that there's a lot of complexity and nuance to how I just described that, but this was a movie that I discovered on the platform, and I'm grateful that I sat through it because I was exposed to a new director and a movie that I would never discover otherwise. But it was a difficult watch. But it was, I think, nevertheless, all in all, a good artistic experience. It pushed me to my boundaries, and I'm appreciative of that. And I do think that the style in which the movie was shot, the one take kind of filming and the skit type of feel to it, I do think that it was a nice artistic touch. And yeah, that's those are my feelings about the movie. And so my verdict is that this movie wasn't for me. It might be for other people, but I think that this really was almost a nod to Ingmar Bergman, who is a Swedish director who is very clearly cited as an influence on Roy Andersson. And so, as somebody who has watched Ingmar Bergman's movies, it's again, that guy, his movies are hard to watch too, but I've sat through some of them and have appreciated the artistic style, and again, that type of cinematography exists, and it pushes things to the boundaries, and I respect that aspect of movies. And so Ask a Guru is the platform for you to share all of what you love. We will check it out. Some movies we'll love, some movies we will, maybe it won't be for us, but nevertheless we'll appreciate the fact that you thought so much to post it, and also we'll be able to usually find very artistic aspects, and that's the beauty of all of the arts that we engage with in this way. So I hope you enjoyed my commentary on this video, and I look forward to seeing what you post, and that's pretty much it. So I will see you later, Gurus. Peace. Ask a Guru.